welcome to Musical Intelligence again. This is going to be my very first sax video, meaning based on playing saxophone and not trying to show off some guitar gear, which is actually saxophone is my main instrument. Now I'm still struggling to play the damn thing because if you haven't seen the other videos I did about this, I strongly suggest you go check them out. I still have some sensitivity in my teeth from the operation I had this spring. So I have to see the dentist again. I don't think I'd be able to do a 3-hour show and survive it. For a few minutes of sax on video with lots of breaks in between, I can pull it off. I'm sharp enough to be able to do these techniques I'm going to show you. I'm not sharp enough to do the entire solo flawlessly like I'd like to do. So hopefully you'll find enough information to help you out, enough counsel, enough advices, at least to make you aware of everything that's going on, the added depth by Mr. Maceoh Parker in his solos, especially this one. Now I'm going to split screen here for a few seconds. I picked a transcription by Mr. Prodromos Michailidis. He did a transcription of a Maceoh Parker solo accompanied with a big band on a Stevie Wonder song. So I'm going to pick this one out and we'll go over it. I'll detail 5 facets that I feel were not transcribed. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying what you need to be aware of when learning this solo or any of their solos you'll find on YouTube. And if you feel the need to redo that, retranscribe it and add what I'm going to show you or what I'll have you listen to, then go ahead. I'm sure he won't mind. I know I won't. So I'd like to thank him for his effort in transcribing as much as he did of this solo. So on to the first facet of Maceoh Parker's playing. First part of emulating or trying to being inspired by Maceoh Parker's style are appoggiaturas and gruppettos. Or in Italian we'd say gruppettis, but we're not speaking Italian. So it's to add ornamentation to notes, be it long notes or short notes or quick notes. So it doesn't matter to Maceoh, or most jazz players for that matter, but in Maceoh's case, there's a lot of stuff that's added that wasn't picked up through no fault. It's not the easiest thing to do, hence this video. So we're starting on the A here at measure 38 and measure 40. So in those 3 measures, you got 2 that are written, but you got a few that are missing. So we're going to try to pick those up. So let's listen to this. All right, let's do the same thing again. Let's get back up. Okay. As opposed to playing it the way it's written. Okay, so there's a few things added there. So now on to the next one, which would be the gruppetto. Let's move forward a little bit. So we should be around measure 48, 49 in that area. My bad. Let's do it a little further back. So let's say the C, so measure 50. The first one. All right, let's listen to this again. See how close we got. Then there's something else before the C. It's probably not a gruppetto. It's written as a drop. Now, it's not the easiest thing. It's a style thing. You don't have to copy it exactly like that. But if you're trying to do a Maceoh Parker solo, you should try to get as close to it as I can. So, as you can, not as I can. All right, so on to number 2. The second one is the way Maceoh ends certain notes. Normally in rhythm and blues and jazz fashion, or even classical fashion for that matter, you'd end the note with the tongue. Sometimes Maceoh uses a certain style where he doesn't use the tongue, he just lets his air support drop. Well, let's listen to this. I'm going to be around measure 59, 16, 61, so this area here. Now we're looking for this lick, and especially the C. So if I play it slowly, now I played exactly what's written, or more or less what's written, but there's a big difference on that high C. So let's listen to it. So the way he ends this C. So the C ends before he plays the D. So what's written at measure 61? What he plays, or my way of interpreting, emulating, imitating what he's playing. Let's listen to that again, see how close I got. Here we go. And on top of that, to make it even harder, he's got a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a vibrato on that note, which I'm not even going to try to attempt at this point. I'm just too rusty to pull it off. But again, here's the different ways that could be played and the way he plays it. So if I just play G, A, C, D, the way it's written. Then the way, if you wanted to cut the C short, and the way he plays it. All right, so on to the next one. I'm aiming for 101 where it says second solo. Right. I'll retry it again. The point of this third part is playing behind the beat. So it's pretty much a Maceoh Parker trademark. He didn't come up with it, but he's mostly a rhythm and blues player, and that essentially laying down the pocket or sitting in the pocket with the rhythm section. So again, if I had a rhythm section with me, I could better demonstrate it, but it's something to be aware of that's really hard to write down in music paper and transcriptions. So you have, on this part, if it was my copy, I'd write down play behind the beat or lay back or sit on it or anything along those lines. So if we just listen to it before I pollute it again, let's go back to, again, we're looking for 101. I'll cue you in once we go there. Okay, and then I'll try it again with him. I'll to do a better job. And also, very important to note, you need a lot of air. I mean, I don't know how he's doing it. He's in better shape than I am on his horn, that's for sure. But you need a lot of air, and you need to have really big breath to last all the way through that, because there's a lot of inflections, a lot of appoggiaturas, air support, pushing with the diaphragm, and he's pushing hard. He's not playing mezzo forte on this. So I'll try to do the best I can to demonstrate what he's doing, but again, he's the master at it. That's why it's so hard to do. Notice at the end on that triplet here, he attacks the A, attacks the E, and slurs the G. So that's that. So on to the next one. The fourth one is really easy. It's pretty much covered in the third one, but I don't talk about it, but you can clearly hear it. So I won't play it, I'll just have you listen to this one. It's the inverted swing. You see it here at bar 101, 102, 103, where you have, let me go full screen on this, where you have a 16th note followed by a dotted 8th note. So essentially, instead of playing so that's really, really a Maceoh Parker thing. Sanborn tried to emulate, well, it did emulate it very successfully, I might add. But Maceoh Parker, Crawford, and a bunch of rhythm and blues players were very much into that feel. And you can listen to that and hear that in this solo and many of Maceoh Parker's solo. So let's just listen to it and move on to the fifth and last one. Same thing again, if you look here, B and then the B flat 2A, it's not an appoggiatura, it's really an inverted swing. Da-da-da, da, da-da-da. Okay, I'll pull it back again. So if it would have been an appoggiatura, that would be the inverted swing. So let's listen to that again and move on. And he lands the first note really hard with a staccato, just to put the emphasis on that inversion. So on to the next one. The final one are bends. Now we're all guilty as sax players, especially when we start or when we are really rusty, to bend everything inside. You bend every note, you sound out of tune, and it's not the prettiest thing. It feels cool when you're doing it, but when you listen back to it, it's not the coolest thing ever. You can really differentiate the amateurs from the pros with the quality of their bends and the amount they use. So if I go, it's same excerpt again. So I'll go to second solo, 101, and then when we get to the bend in question, I'll stop it and we'll talk about it. Yeah, so that one here, that high B, okay? So it's really well written in. It could be even longer than that. There's a few other bands later on in solos that he does that are a little bit longer. I picked this one up because it's fairly easy to play. And it's really easy to mess up too. Well, if we play it straight, then if we play it as an appoggiatura, and then if we play it with the band, okay? So how we do the band? Well, you need to combine air support and fingers. Now the way I do it, if you look at my right hand, sorry about that, I'm going to use my right hand, which flattens the B. Okay, so something like that. Again, I'm not the best at doing it, but it is something to work on if you want to approximate playing like Maceoh, David Sanborn, Michael Brecker was really, really phenomenal at this kind of stuff. And in rock and pop and rhythm and blues music, it is something that's really popular, that emulates guitar players bending on a string. Actually, we don't know which one came first. Either trumpet players bending, sax players bending, violin players bending. Anyway, you get the drift. But it's essential to play like Maceoh Parker. So on to the conclusion of this video. So again, I want to thank Mr. Prodromos Michailidis and his YouTube channel for providing me with this transcription. He's not aware that he did, but hopefully, he's all right with it. And since, it's a transcription, I'm assuming that he has no issues. If he puts it up on YouTube for us to play with, then we can use it in our own stuff. And hopefully he'll find my video as constructive as I found his. Now, here are a brief recall of the 5 facets we saw to play like Maceoh, the boss. Appoggiaturas and gruppettos, be careful in any transcriptions from him or any other artist or any other transcriber you find on YouTube or anywhere else to find out what's not written, what's not added, that added depth of adding ornamentations to long notes or sometimes a bunch of notes. Secondly, ending with air as opposed to the tongue, which is really a big Maceoh thing. Thirdly, phrasing behind the beat. He doesn't have the monopoly on that, but he's really good at it. It's probably the best one to learn from about that. The inverted swing, which is very much a rhythm and blues thing and a funk thing. So instead of playing do ba do ba do, playing do da do da dupa dupa. The landing that first 16 notes right on the beat and moving on to that dotted 8th note. And the last one being very present in many styles of music, including classical music. Long bands with fingers and lip and air support moving. So thanks again for watching my videos. Hopefully you'll come back or subscribe and see you on the next one.